Knowledge is power. Information is key. And that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. The Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
You are listening to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning.
Tuesday morning, the 17th day in the month of March 2026. Thank you so much. Beautiful morning to you, wherever you're locked onto this frequency known as the sound of Lagos. Right, and you're welcome on board to the Morning Express right here on this super dial. This is where we make sure your morning is all encompassing and quite interesting one as you go ahead with your activities to Ramadan period, right? And of course, for the end of this week, we definitely get to see the end of the holy month of Ramadan. But till then, you're welcome on board. It's trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM as it sounds and as the name entails. This is where we majorly look into the trends, updates. We look into several stories in our dailies, what they have for us. Majorly the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, to see what is trending in all of this. And we also not just look into them, we give analyses, we look at several perspectives, we analyze them with the help of in-house analysts in person of side Fᴜʟ. They'll be joining us shortly. While we're doing that, you can join the conversation. You can join us on Facebook and YouTube. The handle is at Mainland 98.3 FM. At Mainland 98.3 FM, you can enjoy an audio-visual experience anywhere you are, right? And you can also listen via Radio Garden. You go to the Radio Garden website, either you go on website or you download the app and then you search for Mainland 98.3 FM and you get to join the conversation. So location is not really a thing to be a part of the conversation, as much as we always make every avenue available for you to join the conversation. All right, so get through to side forward and it will be helping us with the analysis, helping us look at these issues holistically and give analysis to them, be it political updates, be it socio-economic, be it an update what's happening, an update from the Middle East, even in Nigeria, what is happening. We just heard about a suicide bombing just yesterday in Maiduguri. All of these things, we're still struggling with insecurity issues, we're still struggling with so many things. Our political space, we are seeing the campaign cross-carpeting from opposition parties to the ruling party, right? Right now, APC is now securing almost 31 states. 31 states in the country. People are clamoring, political analysts saying, well, these are evidences that we are threading towards one party nation or one party state. Is that through we still have other school of thought still saying, well, we still have opposition parties, we still have quite a number of oppositions in the nation, in the state, that can still be viable opposition parties. A lot of things happening, right, in several sectors, our oil sector, the power sector, a lot still happening. So we'll look at what our dailies have in store for us. Good morning, Said Fuad.
Yeah, Lady Mo, how are you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing very well. Did you go to look for fuel?
Well, it's fun. It's just expensive. It's not scarce. It's just painful that you have to cough out. I just bought. These days you just have to do the little you can do. So
Right.
I bought the little my pocket can carry, and it's shocking to see that you don't even reach anywhere.
You see what you just said. I saw a skit, right? It could be quite funny, but it's not funny, really. I saw a skit of someone. I've seen a couple of them actually portraying the prices of petrol and the measure of the container you used to buy them with the same amount, right?
Exactly.
The guy was, trying to show us the era of Obasanjo. When you want to purchase 10,000 naira fuel, 10,000 naira fuel, the container you take along the time of Jonathan, the time of Muhammadu Buhari, and also he even gave like a ridiculous portrait of the second term of President Bola Tinubu if he wins the next election in 2027, if he contests the next election and wins. He also portrayed using right and also portrayed the water bottle for buying 10,000 naira petrol. I just wish we don't get there.
I just did something similar, and I looked at my fuel gauge, and it's just like I didn't do anything, So, but it's just the reality that we face at this time, And there used to be a time that that 10,000 naira would probably get you a fill up for a car.
Yes.
With 10,000 naira, you're close to filling up your tank. But now with 10,000. You probably just want to move your vehicle from one point to another point, and then find a way to also top up eventually. So, it's what it is.
As at now, we are not even struggling with fuel scarcity. I mean, fuel hike, right? Price hike. You see number of cars just stopping unexpectedly on the road, causing traffic, causing this just for lack of fuel, inadequate fuel in their cars.
And the roads are usually free.
Yes.
The roads are usually
even this
free.
morning I was surprised. I was like, is there a public holiday today or something?
No, people have just abandoned their vehicles. They can't deal. 800, 700, 850 naira, people were struggling to, keep up. But with 1,250, 1,300, depending on where you're buying from in Lagos, it's just what it is. People have just decided, we can't deal. So they've abandoned their vehicles. So you have lesser vehicles on the road. So
all is well.
And there's a lot of trekking. People have now.
Yes.
They've decided to put on their trekking shoes.
Yes, because there's increase in transport fare actually too. So even for those that don't have cars, they don't have vehicles. They also, we also bearing the.
They have resorted to their leggedies best. When the leg up and down now.
Oh my God!
Great.
Oh my goodness! Well, all is well. Really, all is well. Thank you very much, Said. You're welcome on board. But while we are struggling with fuel hike, Said Fuad, beyond what is happening in the Middle East, as of yesterday, we still got reports of suicide bombing in Maiduguri, right? And according to the police command in Borno, they are confirming 23 people being killed, 108 injured during the multiple explosions yesterday. The police said the suspected suicide bombers, allegedly carried out the suicide attack at around 7:24 p.m. And according to the statement released by the police command, saying that investigation has indicated that explosions were carried out, using IEDs by suspected suicide bombers at three different places. Monday Market, that's the Maiduguri Central Market, known as the Monday Market, the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital's Gate, and the post office flyover area of the town. Really, what is more concerning is the involvement of innocent lives being lost with this explosions, with this level of insecurity side forward. I don't know. A lot of comments, right? A lot of comments after this, reactions, mixed feelings, mixed reactions with the fact that are we already overwhelmed by insecurity?
Well, I don't want to say we're overwhelmed, but it's become a very big challenge. Because again, saying we're overwhelmed would mean that we're trying not to appreciate
the efforts,
the efforts of our gallant troops, our soldiers who, on a daily basis have to combat combat and contend with these.
But sometimes, Said Fuad, it's a case of we take a step forward and then we take 1 million steps backward.
Well, that's why we're also thinking that more has to be done now, to fight this insurgency. It's a different kind of warfare, Lady Mo. And it's not, I don't think it's something that you would eventually say you've won. We just have to continue to ensure that we protect our communities from these monsters, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because the reality is that once you take care of a group, there's a way they recoil into our communities, you understand what I'm saying? Or they dissolve into neighboring countries of Niger, Burkina Faso, sometimes to some parts of Cameroon, and then find a way to launch back attacks into our communities. Insurgency is a different kind of warfare. It's not the usual kind of war situation where, you know who you are dealing with or where they are at a particular time. These are guys who move around, who dissolve into our communities. They have their sleeper cells, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
And they can be very daring, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, for example, how do you deal with the issue of suicide bombing, Lady Mo? Suicide bombing basically someone who's ready to die. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think we have. That's extreme. That's the extreme. So we don't have the technology. We don't have the wherewithal. Half of these areas where these things are happening, there are no cameras. There are probably even no lights, no electricity supply. So you understand what I'm saying. So targeting, having this kind of soft targets, it becomes very easy. They go into markets, they mix with people. It's difficult for us to even profile some of these people, if you understand what I'm saying. So, we just have to continue to sustain the momentum. Because again, before this bombing happened, for like 3 times, they've tried to take over military
positions, yes.
Positions,
Especially
they become very daring and crazy, these guys. So they want to take up military. So, but, at every time they've made those attempts, the military guys have repelled them only for this one to happen. We don't have the figures yet, but it's looking very bad from the reports we are getting, that a lot of people would have lost their lives, people are injured, properties destroyed. So it's something that we have to pay attention to. We have to keep improving on it. I don't think it is a kind of warfare that will end anytime soon, because it's not nations rising against nations. You understand? This is not community rising against community. These are just deranged elements who have their network across the Maghreb region down to Libya and Co. So what they do is to have an interconnection of these madmen who claim to be fighting, doing jihad. If you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
The bomb blasts that went off in the market now would have killed innocent people.
Right.
Probably killed women, killed children, killed innocent people. So these are just mad, crazy extremists. You understand? These are just crazy individuals, crazy, stupid, idiotic set of people. But it's what it is. This is what we have to learn to contend with. Every country of the world that is battling insurgency are devising means, strategies, building up on intelligence, you understand, being more watchful of their border areas. So it's a lot of work, and we have to be consistent on it. Again, we have to commend our troops who do this job on a daily basis. They lose some of our soldiers are being killed, some of them are handicapped as we speak, so it's a lot of work, and we just hope that the government would also get more consistent on how to continue to encourage our troops to fight these monsters.
Right. We'll definitely stay optimistic, because there's no gain in being pessimistic and giving up on your country. We don't have any other country than this nation, Nigeria. Away from that quickly, let's talk about what is still happening in the Middle East, the effect, and especially the evacuation of Nigerians that are stranded in the Middle East. The Punch newspaper is also reporting that the federal government is activating evacuation plan as we getting the worst from the Middle East crisis. So according to the federal government yesterday, they said that they are working out administrative procedures and the release of funds for the evacuation of Nigerians that are affected by the ongoing crisis in parts of the Middle East, which is coming amid the escalating, tension in the region, triggered by the missile and drone attacks linked to Iran, which, have raised security concerns across several Gulf nations. And so, the spokesperson, according to the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that's Kimiyebi Ebienfa, are saying that arrangements for evacuation were ongoing. And even Iran also had, is supporting the federal government, saying that they are going to be working with the federal government for the successful evacuation of Nigerians that are stranded there. I want to take it along with back to the issue of the fuel. Part of what is happening in the Middle East and the effect of all of that as well. The Punch also, so that you can analyze them together. The Punch also captured this about the petrol and diesel arriving Nigeria. Oh, pardon me. Okay. My gadget is acting up now, but you can go ahead with that of the evacuation before I give you details of other ones, other angles to it.
Well, the evacuation is the right thing to do. Governments all over the world are reaching out to their citizens, living in these different parts of the Middle East, to begin to look at evacuation plans, especially for people who are living in Iran. I don't have a complete figure now, but I'm sure that we have quite a number of Nigerians who are resident in Iran as we speak.
Right. Hello? Hello, sorry for that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lost the connection for a few seconds.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that, look, there's no part of the world where you will not find Nigerians. I don't think there's any country, no matter how remote or small the country is, there will be a Nigerian there doing one or two things. So you might just be surprised that we have quite a number of Nigerians who are currently resident in Iran as we speak. So not to talk of countries like the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, the entire Middle East, even parts of Israel, if you understand what I'm saying. So it would be nice that the government, gets on this issue, begin to work out plans to evacuate those of them who want to leave. Because I've seen videos of Nigerians who are saying that, look, they are not going anywhere, no matter what happens. They would rather stay. I've seen quite a number of videos.
Yeah, no, of course, not all will be willing to
come back. But for those who are willing to come back, who are probably going to need the help of the government, I think is the right thing to do. Let's hope that they will be well coordinated, because I've seen quite a number of African countries who have done that already. For example, we got a report of Uganda. Uganda has moved some of their people away from, I think, from Iran to Turkey. And then from Turkey, they are planning to bring them back to Uganda. Because, Iran shares border with Turkey, so I think it's like the safest route now, via the rail lines. Because, again, flying might be difficult at this time. So people are using buses. They are using the rail lines to move their people out of Iran, out of these trouble areas. And I think the safest country in that axis now, I think, appears to be Turkey. And then from Turkey, I think people can now begin to go back to their different countries. So let's see what the government will do. But it's the right thing to do. And I would commend the government for getting onto this to help Nigerians back home safely from this area.
Well, okay. Speaking about the Middle East side forward, before I come to the petrol and diesel story, the Vanguard newspaper, pardon me to pick up that because it's relating to what is happening in the Middle East, especially the Strait of Hormuz. The European Union, they are rejecting Trump's demand to now help, right? The European leaders they're rejecting the demands by the U.S. President Donald Trump for help to clear the Strait of Hormuz. As foreign ministers from the EU, gathered in Brussels yesterday to discuss the skyrocketing oil prices from the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran, which the pushback is coming after Trump had called on UK, China, France, calling on Japan, calling on South Korea, and even other NATO countries to send ships to secure the Strait of Hormuz, saying it would be very bad for the future of NATO if allies don't help secure the strait. And according to a U.S. official, U.S. officials, they had also spent much of the weekend working to rally support behind Trump's demand, and saying that they hoped to announce a new coalition in the coming days, according to people familiar with the matter. Though who that coalition consists of and when it might be announced is still an open question, right?
You see, Lady Mo, I told you yesterday, when we're having global view, that look, every war situation is bad because again, people are going to lose their lives, women, children, innocent people will die. It's just what war brings. People will be displaced, and for years you might have families who would find it extremely difficult to recover from the ruins of war. But on this particular war of U.S., Israel on Iran, there's a little positive for me. It's unfortunate that I was only positive, but I think it will set the tone for future international diplomacy and engagement with the U.S. And I think it would also be, that is if it's going to learn a lesson to Donald Trump, that look, no country in the world can do it alone, no matter how big and powerful you think you are.
Right.
There is no country, the way the world is webbed now, the way the world is structured now, there is no singular country in the world, no matter how big, how powerful, that can run a war situation alone. That even if the war is necessary in the first place. We used to have the unipolar world. We moved from the bipolar world to unipolar world. It's now a multipolar world, whether anybody likes it or not. There are emergent powers. There are nations who are already building up and also, getting up into these kinds of level. Now, this is a Donald Trump that will think that, look, America can do it alone. We have look, I've listened to Donald Trump now. There's hardly any day that I don't monitor international news. And of course, there's no way you look at any of the international media without a report from Donald Trump. And there's hardly any day he talks to the world without saying, we have the best military. We have the best ever. Nobody can do it. And I'm like, look, we have the best military. We have the best military. Now you are in Iran, you don't even know what to do. Because again, you are gone into this war without a plan. It's obvious. Now you want to drag in people, and people are like, the European Union is wondering, why do we have to go into this war with this man? This was a needless war. This was an avoidable war. For years, Lady Mo, you've had several governments in the U.S. avoiding to go into this war. Look, this is a war that Benjamin Netanyahu had always called for. For years, for over 30 years, he's been on this move. He's always wanted to attack Iran. And you've had U.S. presidents who have several times opted for diplomacy, negotiations. And look, the facts are on ground that, you know what? Iran has always been available on the table for negotiations, for deals. In fact, before this particular war, Oman was coordinating another round of talks before this attack. Okay, now let's now say, okay, you decided to attack now. What then do you do? What is the exit plan? How do you end the war? Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz now. All over the world, there's pain and panic. The reason why we are buying fuel now, apart from our own inefficiencies, is because of what has happened in the Middle East, the disruption. So it's part of everybody feeling the pain all over the world because a man had decided to go into an avoidable, useless, unnecessary war without a plan. Now you want European friends. Look, was it not the same NATO that Trump had vilified, insulted? In fact, if he had his way, he would have cancelled the NATO alliance. It is the same NATO you are calling on now. And look, the reality is that, look, the strength of America as it is, and the founding fathers of America, leaders before Donald Trump, understood this clearly. That, look, America is big, is strong, it is what it is today, not by its own personal strength, but because of the number of corporations, alliances, and military bases it has been able to put up all over the world. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
America is what it is because of the number of what? I say it again. Trade relationships, alliances, and cooperations that has been able to build for years all over the world. You came in with your America First agenda and you are dismantling everything. Tear down United Nations, USAID. Look, these are structures of influence that leaders of America have built for decades. These things are done to continue to keep America on top of the world when it comes to influences, relationships, and what have you, and corporations. So you come in and you want to destroy everything, you want to tear everything apart. You've threatened everybody with tariffs. You've threatened Europe that you want to take Greenland. You've threatened almost all the friends of America. Canada used to be the most peaceful trading partner with the US for close to 50 decades, for close to 5 decades, sorry. You suddenly come and you tear the relationship apart to the point where Canada has to now begin to look for trade friends, trade relationships with China, with India. So now you've gone into a war. You are now saying people should go and help. And you know, there's politics about this kind of war in Europe too. There's no appetite for people sending in troops anywhere to go and lose the lives of their soldiers.
Yeah.
So because they know that, look, once they deploy their resources into the Strait of Hormuz, you are stylishly dragging them into the war, Lady Mo. Because once you deploy your military assets into that area, you also become a legitimate target for Iranians. You've also been stylishly drawn into the war. And people are saying that, look, America and its allies have gone into several battles. But they, in their state, have listened to the German Chancellor, have listened to the UK Prime Minister, have listened to the leader of Japan, the leader of South Korea. These are friends and allies of the US. But they have all said, look, you know what? This is not a war we want to be a part of. It doesn't make any sense. So, maybe they can do it alone. Let the US go and do everything alone now. Maybe it's American force. We have the best military. We have the best military. Far better than it. No country can do it. Oh, but you now need people to help you to secure the Strait of Hormuz. I just hope he's going to learn. And now he's threatening NATO. If they don't join me, they'll be what will be the consequence? What is going to be the consequence? They've seen the worst of Donald Trump. What more can they see?
We are even saying that, you know, you didn't carry us along with whatever you have in together.
There was no
the US
plan.
and
There
Israel.
was nothing.
Now you are asking.
There was no plan A, plan B. What are the contingency plans that if this one happens, this is what we do? You just run into a war like that with a country that for several decades, US leaders have avoided going into this kind of war because they understand that, look, it's even better to judge than to war. Now look at the dirty situation we have on ground now. It doesn't even do, as it stands, it does not even know how to end the war. And like they say, you can start a war, look, the call of ending the war is not in your hands. You want a regime change in Iran. You don't want boots on the ground. How do you do that, Lady Mo? Because whether we like it or not, that is what Trump had hoped for, that there will be a regime change in Iran. But how do you do a regime change in a country like Iran, with its topography, with the kind of military might, arrangements of government structure, without boots on ground? How do you want to achieve that?
Well, that's it's quite, I don't know. I don't even know the word to say. If it's unfortunate or it's surprising or ridiculous, I really do not know. Because, you know, sometimes when you plan for war or when you plan for a fight, I mean, what should be at the back of your mind is how you want to end the fight, how you want to, or what you want to achieve with the fight.
To what end? What do you want to bring out of it? Look, last year you did a bombing. There was a B-2 bombing of nuclear sites of Iran. And the same Donald Trump told you what, that we've obliterated all their nuclear facilities. We've taken it 50 years back. You understand that whatever they must have been doing to get a nuclear weapon, we've destroyed it, we've obliterated, that was the word they used, and we've taken it 50 years back. So if you have done that, and you say, oh, what you are doing is to ensure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon, and you bombed it out and taken it 50 years back, what was then the need for this war, Lady Mo? That was what you said last year, when there was the B-2 bombing. You came up to say, look, you know what, this country will never have nuclear weapon, because what we have done is that, look, we've taken them 50 years back. They can't do anything again. And then suddenly, you now have this war. So what was then, and then you say, oh, you think Iran was going to attack? You know, it does not. And look, these are things that have happened over and over. And people have thought that, look, America at some point should have learned a lesson. They went into Iraq with weapons of mass destruction. For 10 years, America could not bring out one single weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They left, embarrassed, and you know, completely confused. Afghanistan, the same problem. Taliban has to go. Taliban is back now. America had to abandon his friends and people who work for him, for them, sorry, as a country. The same thing Syria. As we speak now, they have to just take whatever is left of what they had in Syria. Libya, one of the reasons why we are solving insurgency in parts of Africa now was what happened in Libya when Gaddafi was removed. Now that place is a gang state. Nobody controls anything. Then you want to go into Iran again to have it, get into a regime change, probably start a civil war there, destabilize the entire region with consequences for the rest of the world. I don't know how these people think.
Well, that's the update we get in this morning and in our dailies. It's still trends in the papers on Mail 98.3 FM, The Sound of Lagos. We are perusing the pages of the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper. Right, quickly, let's talk about an update here from the oil sector as well. Despite, the no petrol import license being issued this year, we're getting reports that about 129 vessels carrying 129,000 metric tons of PMS and also automotive gas oil, that's diesel, are expected to dock at Lagos Port between March 14 and 17, 2026. According to the Nigerian Port Authority, the shipping position daily obtained yesterday, they gave reports of some vessels with several thousands of metric tons that are arrived in Nigeria on Tuesday as well, March 17. Also, we had another one at Calabar Port, arriving coincidentally, amid the ongoing fuel price hikes, nationwide, even with the no license, import license not, given to them this year. Economic analysts, labor unions, and even private, sectors leaders had been calling on the federal government to provide relief measures, citing the crude oil prices driven by, escalating tensions between what is happening in the Middle East. But according to the marketers, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, confirmed that independent marketers are prepared to lift imported products to ensure availability and competition. That's according to their spokesperson, saying that the independent marketers are always on the receiving end, that whenever the product is coming from and it is in the tanks of depot owners or NNPC, that they will buy it. The most important thing is availability. According to the NMDPRA, they are saying that, or clarifying that, no import licenses were issued in the first quarter of this year. Also asserting that the shortfalls in February were covered by the leftover stocks from January and existing refinery outputs, saying that while IPMAN and other stakeholders, supported the halt on fuel import licenses, that major dealers and importers are arguing that imports are still necessary to meet national demand. Right, even a source within the NMDPRA, speaking on the condition of anonymity due to lack of authorization to speak on the matter, explained that Dangote refineries on sold stock were rolled over due to weather-related, export delays in Europe at the end of last year's side forward.
Well, in Nigeria, what this government has done so far, even since coming up on board, is to ensure or work very hard on availability of products. And I think, to all the supporters of government, to them it's a big achievement. Oh, maybe there are no queues again. When last did you see any queue? I'm sure you've heard them say.
Of course.
People now going to filling stations to buy. There's no longer queue. Maybe we've forgotten the era where there used to be a lot of queue. So to them it's a very big achievement. At least people, Nigeria as an oil producing nation, has been able to defeat long queues at our filling stations. Okay. But I think they need to be told, and I think I said it yesterday with Sage, that when you talk about energy security, especially for an oil-producing nation like Nigeria, it's not just about availability. It's also about accessibility and affordability.
Right.
It's not a one-way thing, especially for an oil-producing nation like Nigeria, that the nations, the citizens of the country are supposed to benefit from. We are not Togo. We are not Benin Republic. Nigeria is the sixth largest oil producing nation in the world. So one of the reasons why Nigerians will know that they are indeed an oil producing nation is to not see that these products are available, but also see that they are accessible and affordable. So this story basically is telling us that, look, imported petroleum products have come in, PMS, diesel, and what have you. The reality is that it will only help with product availability. It's not going to make the product affordable.
Right.
Because I think for Nigerians, what they are interested in is the affordability part of the conversation that our government is not interested in.
What is supply when demand is low?
So when the demand is low, but you're getting more supply. But the reality is that it's not going to even impact the price. Because whether we like it or not, the government has told you that they are not interested in price control. Many nations of the world have decided to go into price caps, subsidies to begin to help their people at this time. But the government thinks, no, let the market forces determine it. Look, there is no nation in the world, there is no responsible government in the world that leaves its energy security in the hands of market forces. The US does not even do it. Because they understand that, look, energy security is also national security.
Right.
As we speak, you see that things are already getting very expensive again. The so-called inflation targets that they've achieved, things are getting back to where it used to be. Even if we're going to accept those figures. Yes.
Thank you for mentioning that. Since you have mentioned the issue of inflation, I like the way Vanguard puts it, that after 6 months break, that even food inflation had resumed upward climb, rising to 12.12%. You know, we're trying to achieve a figure in inflation rate, but now we're getting a report that the annual food inflation rate reversed a 6 months downward trend, is now rising to 12.2% in February. Though there had been arguments and contention about the reality and the reality and definition of the downward review of the inflation anyway. But then what the report is saying is we are getting rise again, to 12.2% in February from 8.89% in January, driven by prices of beans, yam flour, cassava tuber, and crayfish, and other items. And similarly, the monthly food inflation rate reversed a 2-month downward trend and now rising to 4.69% in February from 6.02% in January.
You see, the reality is that, look, we know that when there's a rise in the price of petroleum products, there's always this trickle-down effect.
A jack up in every other thing.
Everything, because once public transport goes up, once logistics goes up, cost of production goes up, and everything just follows suit. You understand what I'm saying? So, because again, the story is also talking about the fact that the NMDPRA, the regulator, when it comes to the midstream and downstream sector, said they've not issued any licenses in the last
this
year.
This year,
not done any license.
Yes.
Well, so people are saying, where did this one come from? So what they are saying is that it might have just been the licenses issued in the last quarter of 2025. A rollover. So there are people who have ordered these products and the products are just arriving. As it stands, what it means is that in the whole of 2026, we relied solely, majorly on the Dangote refinery. In fact, from the reports of the NMDPRA, almost on a daily basis now, we get about 35 million liters of refined petroleum products, petrol from Dangote, and just about 5 million from the people who are bringing in products into the country. Again, it gives us an idea of our daily consumption. I used to say the 60 million figure was completely ridiculous, fraudulent. It was just to justify the need to continue to import petrol into this country. Now they're already giving us a realistic figure of about 40 million liters per day. You understand? So at the end of the day, people bringing in products will not guarantee affordability, until the government steps in. And at this time, I think the government needs to step in. I've said it, the idea of 100,000 distribution of CNG kits is completely nonsensical in light of what we are faced with. The issue of sharing rice is also completely nonsensical. It does not even help anything.
What do you use to cook the rice?
Anyways, I was hearing a caller yesterday saying that the sharing of rice is part of zakat as prescribed by Muslims. And I said, no, people should be careful to model up things that are not related to. The one that the one that the Islamic religion talks about is the one you do with your personal money.
Right.
You give it to your neighbors, you give it to people who are in need. Not the one that you use government money.
Yes, coming from willingness to do that, not from to ameliorate
from your
or
income.
To reduce. not.
And the one Islam prescribes as zakat is not the one you go and brand and put the face of politicians and begin to give it to party members. And people should be careful to not begin to say things that are completely nonsensical on radio. That the government people sharing things for themselves that will be branded with logo and faces of politicians for political gains at the end of the day is zakat. How is that zakat in the name of Almighty Allah? When we know that the end game is to draw people to eventually go and vote for particular politicians. If you want to give. We are not saying they should not share it. We are just saying that, look, it will be nice for you to run an economy where people can use their own personal money to buy these things. They don't have to wait for government. That's what we are saying.
To eat.
Can't we run an economy that people are so empowered to do businesses, to send their children to school without waiting for politicians, feed their families without waiting for politicians, run an economy that fixes poverty, take people out of poverty?
Well,
do you want to turn everybody to Alimajiri, Kamagabokiri? So you want to eat rice, you have to wait for a politician. Is that the economy to run? The government of tokenism? Is that what we are saying?
I hope we don't resort to that.
That is what they want to turn us to. Everybody has to be a beggar. You want to do code, you have to wait for government to give you freezer, to give you generator. Cᴏ̀vuᴜ lọ́tà. They travel around the world. Where do they see politicians doing that? Anywhere in the world, any functional country in the world. It's the only it's the standard in Nigeria because we weaponize poverty. And it's deliberate. It's a conspiracy. Get them impoverished so that they are so vulnerable, and then you toss them around. Make them beggars so that they feed from the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Is that governance?
A reality that brings tears down the eyes of the elders, right?
So they eat the rice, and when their children are sick, there are no good hospitals to take care of them. They can't give their children decent and affordable education. There's poor infrastructure everywhere, insecurity. Somebody says sharing of rice by government is zakat. What kind of useless zakat is that? Is that what Islam prescribes?
Well, it's well said forward. Still trends in the paper. Still speaking about hike and increase. We're also seeing reports of hike and increase in the airfares. That's the flight tickets and all of that. I mean, the ongoing war between US, Israel, and Iran, which is crippling international air transports with average airfares recording a surge of over 100% across several routes. Especially from yesterday, and the demand pull inflation across European and American carriers, following the abrupt indefinite suspension of several inbound and outbound flights in the Middle East. That's in the Guardian newspaper. And quickly, let's come back to the Punch newspaper. There's this report, and this is not the first. The probe has begun after the Kaduna-Abuja train accident, injuring passengers as well. That's the Nigerian Railway Corporation and the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. They confirmed that a train operating on the Kaduna-Abuja rail corridor was involved in an accident yesterday, leaving several passengers injured. It happened in Kaduna State while the train was traveling from Rigasa Station in Kaduna to Idu Station in Abuja. And according to the management of the NRC, they said it involved a rear locomotive and passenger coach directly attached to it following a coupling failure. I saw a couple of reactions and a couple of that this is not the first time we're having derailments, especially on this route. That what exactly is happening? Why are we not finding lasting solution or discover what is causing this and then find a lasting solution to that? Is there somewhere that we have sabotage?
Well, again, when you talk about safety standards, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done with our rail networks. This is not the first time. I think sometime last year too, there were cases of derailment. Because there are issues around vandalism, right?
Yeah.
There are probably possibilities of sabotage too. People tampering with the rail networks for all manner of reasons. There are also the issue of vandalism. So, safety procedure generally. How to keep this rail line safe is key. Thank God that no life was lost in this particular one, but a number of people were injured. They said they're going to investigate, too many investigations without any reports. And even when there are reports, there are no follow-ups. We just know that this has happened, this is what caused it. Do we really do anything to fix the problem so that such a thing does not happen again? We are just making an attempt now to bring our rail networks back to life. And one of the things that will assure people to continue to use them is when they know it is safe. You know, I've had people who have said they are still afraid to even use our rail lines because they are afraid of terrorists attacking them and all of those kinds of things. So when they now begin to even get reports of derailment today, derailment tomorrow, you know, it might now discourage them from even trying to use the rails. We are hoping to get that part of our public transportation back to life. All functional countries in the world, all meaningful countries in the world, they ensure that their rail lines are working very well. I was still having a conversation with one of our guys yesterday. And I said that, look, one of the things Lagos State should have achieved, and this was something that Baba Jᴏɪᴜ, God bless his soul, wanted to achieve with the monorail, the first monorail in Africa, as far back as the early 80s. Look, there's any functional megacity works on public transportation, ease of movement. So you have an intermodal transport plan where the rails are working, the ferry services are working, the BRT buses are working, the small buses are working, the cable cars are working. Go to any functional megacity of the world, that is what you see. And you know what? You get what you call a trickle-down effect on the economy of that city. Lagos is supposed to be a country on its own in terms of economy and capacity. And one of the ways to ensure that the strength of Lagos is harnessed to the fullest is to ensure an effective and functional public transport system, an intermodal transport system that connects the 5 divisions of Lagos seamlessly and easily to even other parts of the southwest. The blue rail we are doing, not or doing, the 괏ᴜᴜ. Not or doing. You know, when I talk about Lagos, I just whenever they say, oh, and I tell them they can't be more Lagosian than me. Any of them, from top to bottom. Any of them from top to bottom cannot be more Lagosian than me in origin and heritage. But I'm telling you that this was not the Lagos we are thought was going to happen. How many years down the line? The BRT buses are not effective. I saw a woman that was harassed recently when she was trying to do a video that the BRT buses are not even available. Lady Mo.
Yeah. It was
the long queues, they cannot even run an effective bus rapid transit system after how many years? A proper BRT we cannot run in the city of Lagos. The rails are far in between. Where are the rail lines anyway? Like I just told you, we've been on the blue line now for how many years? Too. How many people are they picking? I told you, one of the cities that you should look to that just looks like Lagos in terms of everything, population and what have you, is to look at the city of Istanbul in Turkey. Go and see how that city is running, Lady Mo. Where are our ferry services in Lagos?
Where we already having self-driven cars.
The BRT, I said this, the easiest of them all is to run a BRT service in the city of Lagos. We can't even do it. Now we want to bring environmental sanitation. Where is the water? What has happened to waste collection and management? We just want to shut down is that the way to keep a city clean?
Thank you. You know, so many things if we continue to talk about in different sectors will not leave here. But for the sake of the purpose, still trends in the papers quickly with the few minutes, seconds that we have left. A political story here and updates. The indications that Bala Mohammed also is going to the ruling party, but let's see how it unfolds. But
that should not come as a news now. It's all good. All how do I even say it? Good luck to him.
Good luck to him.
You know that as it is in the political space, whatever anybody wants to do.
31 states with the ruling party.
You know, by that moment, if he leaves now, eventually, you know, he used to be the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. So now that he's joining the APC, so once he joins the APC, he will become APC governor, Abi. So they will also call him a progressive governor. Abi? Is that how he's done?
PGF. Well, still in this political space, the presidency is kicking as the opposition party, which is the ADC, alleging plot to make Tinubu sole presidential candidates. You know, APC, they are saying that APC is trying to instigate crisis to weaken opposition. Though the presidency had replied saying that the ADC's claims against Tinubu is baseless. And OB also condemning, just trying to read out the writers to have an encapsulated story. OB also condemning ADC office attack in Cross River. Dixon saying the Nigerians are hungry for change, right? The ADC is saying even with the fact that we have the April 21 deadline for submission of political parties membership registers and May 30 deadline for party primaries and resolution of disputes, they are saying or accusing influential figures within the All Progressives Congress of plotting to have the president, that's President Bola Tinubu, as the only contender in the 2027 presidential election.
You see, the thing is this. I think for Nigerians, we are between the devil and the deep blue sea. Because you look left and right, it's same of the same. So the politicians can continue to accuse themselves. As it stands, I don't think we have any hope that our politicians are going to do better than what they are doing. They are all malleable. They are all, it's almost like it's just a deal. They are looking at their own personal interest. There's none of them looking at the bigger picture, if you understand what I'm saying. So nothing to surprise Nigerians. If anybody moves from one party to another party, it's still the same thing. The only thing we have is just different political parties. The ideology and thinking of our politicians are the same across across board. Now, I don't know, this idea of wanting to become a one party or is only President Bola, there will be. I'm sure that there will be an opposition against him in 2027.
Right.
How strong the opposition will be
is now question. Yes, it now differs. Right. Because of our time, we have to go. Thank you very much for the person calling our attention to the connection on Radio Garden. You know that we'll always as much as possible make it possible for you to listen, make avenues available for you to listen to us across several platforms, right? So but then gadgets and internet we cannot dictate, because aside from that, we are being dragged also on social media about our connection on Radio Garden, that we are zero in technicians.
You should use other platforms.
Right. That's why we have
our website.
Our website, yes,
multiple channels,
and also Facebook and YouTube. But trust us, we'll definitely still find.
On his radio, use Terrestrial.
There are several avenues, actually. There are several platforms you can join the conversation. Right. Thank you very much, Said Fuad. Really appreciate your time for the analysis. Okay. We'll be back for Mail and Focus. Good morning.
Thank you.